Hey everybody, what is going on? It's been a long time since I put a video up on the channel, so I wanted to just kind of discuss what I've been doing recently. I did make a community post about it the other day, but just want to talk about Nightreign. I've been playing this a lot since it came out earlier in June. You know, I've done a few play sessions with like some friends that I know. I've played a few times with Ryan Garesh. There's videos up on Rye's second channel and on his VOD channel. You can go check those out. And I've been having a really good time playing it. So I wanted to just do a quick discussion on like kind of just like a quick, this is going to be a short video, quick thoughts on like Nightreign. I'm planning on doing a more edited video, like with actual like better gameplay and things like that. I've been posting a lot of footage over on Twitter just whenever I beat like a boss or something like that, or if I have a run that's really close. I've kind of been posting like a nice 3-minute clip on Twitter to just kind of, just get my thoughts out there, scream, talk about things. So if you have not played Nightreign yet, it is fantastic. So if you played original Elden Ring, it's a much faster paced version, and it's also a roguelite. It's really good. It's great if you have two people to play with. I've heard that the solo experience is pretty decent, but of course not quite as good as the 3-player experience. I think if you have two other people that you know that are willing to play this with you, it's going to be the best possible experience. In my personal experience, I have not had the best luck with randoms. They've been very hit or miss. I feel like there's two versions of random teams. There's either like the people who have no idea what they're doing and just like the John Nightreigns of the world, right? So you're either going to get paired up with people that are going to make you super frustrated, or you're going to get paired up with people that either carry you or just like on your skill level and are very competent, know what they're doing, and are able to like play the game well, effectively. You agree with like the places that they're marking, the things that they're doing. So if you're just like, okay, I'm planning on playing this by myself, I don't have any friends to play it with, should I buy this game? I would definitely just say go take a look at some other people playing it through single player, see if that's interesting to you. If not, maybe pass on this, but it is really, really good. So I do recommend it for anybody out there who wants just like more Elden Ring. This is faster paced Elden Ring. The bosses are pretty good. I do have some complaints overall about some of the bosses. Specifically, last week's hard mode boss, I was not a huge fan of his design. I think they did get a little bit lazy with a couple of the boss mechanics in this game, and just like maybe some of the boss selection. But I won't get into that totally in this video. I'll talk about that later. But like it's definitely not like a perfect game. Like if you're expecting this to be Elden Ring 2. It's definitely not that, but as you can see, this game came out this month, and I have put 85 hours into it, and I got the Platinum Trophy, so, like, obviously, it's held my attention for a really long time. I've really been enjoying playing it. Just like a quick summary of what you do in this game. So you fly in on like a bird, kind of like similar to Fortnite, right? So you get your team, you pick your characters, you fly in. You don't build a character in this game. Other FromSoft games, right? Like you always build your character, then you hop in, you do like the little short tutorial world, things like that, right? In this game, as soon as you press start, you name your character, basically. It's not really your character because there are a total of 8 characters that you can play as, so you just kind of name your profile, I guess, more so. After that, it drops you into a quick tutorial. You run through that, kind of learn okay, this is how you run, this is how you jump, they've added wall climbing, and that's probably the biggest thing they've added. So they've added a faster sprint, wall climbing, and there's no fall damage in this game. So if you've played like normal Elden Ring, it's much faster. You run probably about the same speed that like Torrent sprints at. So you now run at that speed. There is no Torrent. And then, like I said, there's like wall climbing, so you can kind of like clamber up walls. And then there is, like I said, no fall damage. So you can just jump down from a giant ravine and you take no damage, which is really, really nice. Anyway, so you get through the tutorial, then eventually you get into like a main game. So you pick your character. There's 8 different characters, each kind of, basically kind of like what you would imagine the starting classes of like like a normal Dark Souls game to be, or like Elden Ring, right? Like you've got your strength character, you've got your sorcerer, you've got your samurai-based character, and like little offshoots and deviants kind of from those, kind of like your thief class, things like that. So you pick your character, 2 other people if you're going in with 3 people, which is probably the most common way. You pick the 3 people, you drop in, and then you have basically an hour to get through the world. So at the end of about, I think it's about 30 minutes or so, it'll go to night one, you fight a boss, and then it's day two, and then, you have day two, you have about another 30 minutes, and then you fight another boss, and then after that, it transports you to, like the final boss zone. You get a little bit of a prep time, and then you get to go fight the final boss. So that's kind of the general gameplay loop. And then along the way, so like during those two basically 30-minute periods, you're going to be going to different camps, different locations, different points of interest, trying to just beat little mini bosses, encounters, and things like that along the way in order to level up your characters. So that's kind of the general flow of Nightreign. Again, very addictive. I think it is going to get probably a Game of the Year nominee, or at least nomination. I don't think it'll win. Obviously, whenever you have things like Expedition 33 and Donkey Kong coming out this year, I don't think that Nightreign is really going to be in like the, you know, top tier conversations of who's getting Game of the Year this year, but I definitely think it will have a nomination, and I do believe it'll win some game awards. So, just a few things that I do want to talk about here. As far as like what I would like to see coming in the future. So I posted this the other day, and that's just like a hold button to die faster option. So like right now, if you get downed, you have to wait for this timer to tick down before, you can respawn basically. And there are times where your whole team gets wiped and, you're all just waiting for this timer to tick down, and you can't like respawn, and it's just burning precious seconds that you need, to get back into the fight and do things. So that's definitely something I'd like to see. I guess to clarify earlier from what I was talking about, the only times there are permadeath in this game are during the two night bosses during like the run. So like during the 30-minute period on each day, you can't permadie. It's not until the very end, whenever you're fighting like the night boss, that you can actually permanently die. So and then you yourself, if you're doing like a run of 3 people, the only way to like permanently die on the nights is if all 3 team members go down and you're all down at the same time. So that's basically just like during your 2 30-minute periods, I'd like to have an option where it's like, okay, I'm down, I'd like to just die, like the teammate's not going to pick me up. It's basically pointless for me to just be crawling around doing nothing when I could just be respawning and getting back in there. So I would like to see that. Another important thing I'd like to see is a vote to end run option. Other roguelikes have that option where it's like you load in, you don't like the map, you don't like the enemy placement, you don't like the way things are going, and you're like, probably not going to be a very good run. I'd like an option, especially on like a 3-player, setting, to be able to like trigger a vote that says, do you guys want to continue this match or not? Especially whenever you have randoms, because right now, if you just decide like, I hate this map, the enemy placement is terrible, the power up placements are terrible. I say power ups, I mean like the flasks, the churches, things like that. So, you load into the map and you just see like this isn't very good. You should be able to like vote with your team to determine whether or not you guys want to continue this run or not. And like I said, especially with randoms, because right now, if you try to leave a match like midway, it will penalize you. There's only a certain amount of matches you can leave before it'll start hitting you with matchmaking penalties. So they clearly don't want people just like, loading in, seeing that and abandoning their team, which I get. I totally understand that. You don't want people just toxically, like people, like I try to load in and play a game and then my 2 randoms leave and I'm like, well, why do I want to play this? Because everybody left, right? So, I definitely get that. So I think adding an option to just be able to vote on that, even if it's just like once, you load in, you vote on it, decide, and then you get out. I think that'd be something I would like to see. So another thing I should mention in the gameplay loop is that the map is pretty much the same map the entire time. There are instances where different like zones can spawn on the map. There's like a ice mountain that can spawn in sometimes. There's a eternal city, like Nocron, if you played base Elden Ring. There's like a Scarlet Rot forest, there's, and then like a volcano. There's a couple different, they call them shifting earths that can spawn during the thing, but otherwise, for the most part, your map is the same each time. And pretty much the goal of day 1 is to get through the central castle. There's a castle right in the middle of the map, and there are 3 types of enemies that can spawn there. There are the trolls that I mentioned in this post. So those are like your big like mountain trolls that you see, and they can throw giant magic pots at you, which leave like a lingering magic fire on the ground. Those guys are just the worst. And then you have Crucible Knights, and then you have like Banished Knights, or like like the Silver Knights from Elden Ring. And if you get the Crucible Knights or the Silver Knights, those guys are pretty easy. They give you a ton of runes. You can get up to a super high level in the first day very quickly. They don't take too long to kill. They're very like well spaced out, so you're not just getting swarmed by a ton of them at the same time. Really easy to take out, give you a ton of runes, like I said, and are just great for getting your run going. Whereas for the trolls, there's 4 of them, and they give you like half the amount of runes that like the Crucible Knights and the Banished Knights do, or something like that. And they're so hard to deal with because they can aggro you from across the map. I'm sure you guys, if you've been like, if you've seen memes of this game, you've probably seen memes of those trolls like dunking on people, cross map sniping people. Their aggro range is so huge. You won't even quite load into the castle yet, and they're already throwing pots at you. It is insane. And the speed that they can throw them is insane, and then they drop like no runes. So they're like, if you ever load in, you just see trolls at the castle. Every team that I'm on just groans. Like we don't want to go there because there's no incentive to. And what sucks about that is that in every other run, if you get the Crucible Knights or the Banished Knights, that is like a key part of going there and getting a bunch of early levels so that you can challenge other bosses around the map and get good weapons. Because that's how you get weapons mostly in this game, is through defeating little mini bosses on the map. They'll drop in like the, Lion Misbegotten, or what's her name? I can't think of her name at the moment, but the Night Lady, Loretta, like Loretta from the Kaled tree, the I can't think of the name of the tree. No, I played Elden Ring. I have the platinum. I have 170 hours in it. The Halag tree. Like they'll put Loretta from the Halag tree like on the map, or it'll be like the magma worm, or tree sentinel, draconic tree sentinel, Erd tree avatar. They put like those guys all around the map, and you attack them and you beat them and they drop weapons, and that's really how you like power up. That's how you get more powerful gear. They give you buffs sometimes of like, okay, plus 10% HP, plus 10% stance breaking, a better dodge roll. There's all sorts of buffs that they can drop that are there to help you as the player advance in your run. And so whenever you just get Troll Castle, you're just significantly nerfed compared to every other run where you get the Crucible Knights or the Banished Knights at the castle. Like it almost feels like a dead run. Like if you run to the castle and you get trolls, there's almost no reason to do it because it's going to burn up so much time. They're going to give you no rewards, and it's a terrible, terrible feeling. So they either need to, what I would say is just nerf their aggro range so that they can't cross map snipe you constantly, or they need to buff the amount of runes that they drop. Like if it was just worth your time to go there and deal with them, I don't think people would be that upset. But because you just feel like you're just wasting your time going there, nobody actually wants to fight them. Anyway, number 4 is Bell-Bearing Hunter. I do think he needs a slight defense nerf or an HP nerf. I don't want to make him too easy, but compared to the other mini-bosses around the map, Bell-Bearing Hunter is just turned up to like 15. It is insane. He's so tanky. He does so much damage, and anytime you see him, you don't want to fight him. One of the other things, so at the castle that I was mentioning earlier, like the main castle, there's a roof boss, a basement boss, and then, like the trolls, the Crucible Knights, or the Banished Knights that kind of inhabit the middle areas of the castle. Bell-Bearing Hunter is someone that can spawn on the roof or the basement, and the basement is another critical part pretty much of every Nightreign run, because you want to go to the basement, defeat the mini-boss there. One, because it's going to give you some good drops. It's going to give you a nice weapon. It's going to give you a bunch of runes, and it's just a nice path. And then once you beat him, it unlocks a secret passage in the castle that takes you to get a, what are they called? Like a medallion, not a relic, but like a little, whatever they are, where it's like, increases stamina recovery, increases jump attack damage, like your little medallions or whatever that you get. Talisman, that's the word. You get little talismans from that chest, and that's like one of your main sources of like a rare talisman. So, it's a very, very nice path, is to be able to hit the basement, then you go up, you deal with everything in the middle, and then you can choose whether or not you want to go to the roof boss or not. The roof boss, it just depends on if you want to fight him or not. You got to kind of go up there, scope him out, see if it's something you want to deal with. But, Bell-Bearing Hunter himself, just at the castle, across the map, there's just something about him where he's just doing way too much damage. And he's just super tanky compared to every other mini-boss in the game, so I'd like to see a slight nerf on him. And then finally, I think the drops just need to be tweaked slightly. It's a really bad feeling, you know, knowing that your success in a run is tied to the drops that you're getting from these mini bosses for the most part. And, you know, if you're playing as, I called him Raider, that's like your big bonk guy, right? That's the S tier strength scaling. He's going to go in there with your big heavy weaponry and he's just going to hit things, right? Like he doesn't need magic. And there's times where you defeat a boss and it's like, okay, you know, you finally got a legendary, like a rare yellow drop, right? And you pick it up and it's a magic stick and it's like I can't do anything with this staff like at all. Like there is nothing I can do with this like sorcerer's catalyst in my run. And then you look at the other two options because you usually get three options to pick from and it's, you know, something along the lines of guard counters restore FP, which is your magic meter, or you know the last one might be like I don't know, slow restore flask or something like that. And you're just sitting there looking at your options going, all right, we took the time to defeat this huge boss and everybody else got something they can actually use and I'm sitting here with nothing that I can use from my run. And that is another important thing though is that, you know, you kind of do want a diversified team a little bit. That way if you are running with a magic character on your team and you're playing with friends, you can be like, "Hey, you know, what'd you get? This is what I got. You know, can we swap?" And so that is kind of where a nice team building aspect does come into the game is that. So but overall, I'm really happy with this game. I really enjoyed it. This video is definitely longer than I anticipated it being. I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of gameplay footage. I'll just play it here, just some of these Twitter clips. So this was the boss from last week. This is only 3 minutes of the run, and then I've got another 3 minutes from the run that I did tonight. I don't want to promote this. Please go away. Um, but yeah, this was the run. This boss just dropped, I think, yesterday night, so it's been out for about 24 hours now, and this was my first run of the boss. You guys can see right down here. So this is the map that I was talking about earlier, and it shows you like, okay, here's my character. I always name my characters in Dark Souls like a simple name, like Bill, Tim, Ed, John, like just a short, you know, name. Like that's just always what I do. So I'm Ed, and then these are the two other randoms that I queued in with. These aren't people that I know, and it shows you like the loadout that we finished the run with, and you know, like kind of like our path that we went on the map. So I could have zoomed out a little bit here, but here's like that main castle I was talking about. And so you can see it's all about like you just got to run through here, beat a boss, run through, beat another boss, and you can see it shows you like the drops that I took from each boss. So like right here, I didn't take anything because I didn't think that like the drop was worth it. Or this might have been like a blue drop or something like that. It may only show you like the legendary drops. That might be what it's showing. But yeah, anyway, so you get this like little summary screen and it shows you like, okay, so I killed 43 enemies. The archer killed 73. This person killed 38. You can see how much treasure we found, enemies felled, things like that. So it was a good run. It was really nice. And then you can see like right here, this was my first attempt at the boss. You can see I'm scrolled all the way up to the top and we got it done. So it does give you like all this nice history where you can go back and see like the previous 100 runs that you've done. So I've really enjoyed this game. I definitely recommend it if you haven't played it. Here I'll go ahead and show you guys footage now. And thank you guys for listening. Hope this video is enjoyable for you guys. And I'll work on making like an actual video, like a nice edited video for you guys. I don't know when that'll be out, but I'll edit some gameplay footage together and make like a make something out of it. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll go ahead and play this footage now. Enjoy. So the first one up right here is Adele the Gaping Jaw, Baron of the Night. So he's like a dragon that got cut in half, and where his neck hole is just a giant teethy jaw. This guy was insane. I had a really hard time trying to fight this guy with randoms. If you guys go look at my my Twitter page, you'll just see like comments of me crashing out on Twitter trying to fight this guy with randoms. And then lastly is the Centaur. I got this guy done in one try, so there's only one video clip of it, and I will play that as well. So I'm not going to claim to be John Nightreign or the best player in the world or anything like that. You know, there are definitely flaws in my gameplay that I can work on, but hope you guys enjoy the video, enjoy the footage, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Sorry, it's in like really bad quality. I don't know why it's in like it's I don't listen, Twitter. Okay, I'm sorry it's in bad quality. All right. There'll be better footage eventually. All right, we're just gonna deal with the 140p and hope it fixes itself. All right, I'm sorry. Please play. All right. So just like a quick explanation of what happened here for maybe people who are unaware and haven't played the game. Just like a quick thing. So this boss is really annoying, right? So you guys saw that like right here, right, where was it? It was about like right here. So I got grabbed, right? So the boss has this really aggressive grab, and I was, going for an attack. I was doing like a jump attack. I was still kind of in my recovery animation where my guy was standing up. I was mashing dodge, I promise, trying to like get out of the way of that grab. He ended up getting me, but while he was chomping on me, my teammates were down there doing a ton of bleed damage, so they got the boss down to really low HP. This is what I'm talking about, where you go down, your teammates do have the chance to revive you. So they just have to hit this purple bar down to 0, and then I'll get picked back up. So the Duchess character right here runs over. She's kind of like the thief and picks me up, and we start running. But this boss does a really big, hard to avoid explosion. Pretty much the only way to get around it is just not be near him. Unfortunately, I just got picked up. I didn't really have any stamina or anywhere to run, so I wasn't able to get away in time, and it took out both me and the Duchess right here. So she's pretty much impossible to revive at this point. And so we're down to just Jelly Bean King, and you can see the boss has like no HP left. That's why I was like, if I lose this run, I'm gonna break my TV. Now you can see he goes for that attack. Now right here, we should have lost because Jelly Bean King is down, I'm down, and the Duchess is down, but I got an item earlier in the run that allows me to revive, and so I was able to just self-revive right here. My character respawns basically at about half HP, I think, and you can see I have no healing left. I'm out of flasks, so things are not going great, and I'm the only person left alive. I can't pick up Mangonator, and Jelly Bean King is like cooked over here on the boss. So I either have to A, kill the boss or pick up Jelly Bean King. What I decide to do is just go run towards the boss. If I can hit both at the same time, that's kind of my goal. So I'm running over here. You can see the boss is kind of just doing like a little growl, and I go for a swing that hits both the boss and Jelly Bean King. He's going to try to grab me again. I dodge it, and then I run underneath him, and I use my ultimate ability. So that's what these two things are down here. You have like a character skill, and you have an ultimate. So my ultimate was charged. I pop it. Boom, does most of his HP, stuns him a little bit, and allows Jelly Bean King and myself to get the last couple hits on, and we win. So that was that run. Very intense. We would have lost with the boss having almost no HP if I did not have that revive in my back pocket. So very good run right there. You can see the gear that I had. So I had two of these special axes. These are the starting equipment for this character. He gets one of them, and then I found another in the world. So I was just dual wielding both of those. I had like a rotten great axe. The only reason I wasn't using this is because he's actually resistant to fire. And then I just use this and that for their passive abilities. Every weapon, except for like the starting equipment, has a passive ability that gives you additional buffs in the game. So you want to try to fill up as many of these slots as possible. I think the reason I was missing one was I got like Eleonora's pole blade, and I gave it to the Duchess for her to use instead of me. And you guys can see that the blood loss from that came into play way later for us. So there we go. That was the win with that run. Very good, very fun run right there. Just wanted to give you guys a quick walkthrough for that. You know, again, I'm not the best player in the world or anything like that, and you guys didn't get to see the full gameplay because this was just the last 3 minutes, which that's 3 minutes of the boss fight is just that little of an HP bar compared to over here. The last 3 minutes is this much of an HP bar. So I got through this guy a lot easier, a lot faster. You guys can see I said 37 attempts to beat this boss right here, and I get this guy done first try. So I had a really good team for this, and I was just playing really well. I had a really good weapon. This guy's weak to lightning, that as his main weakness, but he's also weak to like bleed and frostbite and poison and things like that as well. So the main reason we were able to beat this boss so easily is we were able to stack up status effects really well. So I'll go ahead and play this. There's not much for me to really explain with this one. I don't think I went down the entire fight. And I don't think the Duchess went down the entire fight either. Again, these are actually different people, you guys can see right here, than the last run. But funnily enough, it's a pretty similar team composition. So I'm like another strength character down here. This guy's not as much of a strength character as the other guy. He's kind of like a little bit more balanced with his other stats. The reason I like this character is because of his ultimate ability is like a berserk arm cannon or something like that. So anyway, I'll play this right here. Hopefully this one, you know, can play in like a good quality and not like 140p. But without further ado, here we go. I'll go ahead and just play it. And so yeah, that was that run. As you guys can see, it went really smooth. So again, that was my first time seeing like most of this guy's moves. I assumed that the other guys had maybe fought or seen footage before, just because they kind of just the entire time we were fighting them, it felt like they knew what they were doing. Now, granted, I was dodging this guy like I had fought him 100 times. Like I don't know, like some of those dodges that I had going on and his like insane combos. Either I was just in a spot where I couldn't be hit, or I was turning into UI Goku. But I saw this guy flying up into the air doing this thing. I was like, what the heck is he doing? And I just saw, like, out of the corner of my eye, if I go back just a little bit here, I see, so there's that character, but like right here, because I'm always looking everywhere on the screen, but I see like the name up here, and I just see them starting to book it. And so I'm like, okay, I guess we're booking it. And then I see him doing this, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what is happening here? And then like okay, I'm glad I glad I noticed this person running, so I just started following them. Another reason why I really like this character, and you probably noticed it several times in the video, is that their character skill is a grapple hook. And this boss is really highly mobile, so I would use that grapple hook to help close the distance with the boss a lot of the time. So this run went really well. The Duchess was using like the Reduvia dagger, which does blood loss and, you know, does like that weird, like destined death attack that like Malakath does. So you can see it was like just chunking off his HP and doing some bleed damage. And then my Morning Star is doing bleed and electricity or lightning. So it's doing a ton of damage to him. And you can see his HP is just going down and down and down. And then the arrow guy, I don't know what he was using, but whatever he was doing, you know, he was like keeping him poisoned or something like that. Like it was doing a really good job of just keeping chip damage going on this guy the entire time while he was just doing all this insane stuff. And then I would just get off, you know, one of my big hits at any given time, keep that blood loss going. And you can see we were just pretty steadily keeping this guy's HP going down and down and down. And then right here, this was pretty much whenever I sealed it, is I finally got this stun right here, which allowed everyone to get in here. So they're going crazy with like Reduvia. You know, I get the riposte, which does like bleed, and then he was just done. And then he ulted and I ulted, and it was over. So it was a really clean run. This person only went down one time. I never went down, and then she never went down, so just really, really smooth. This guy did a really good job. It doesn't really show well, I don't think, in this video, but he does a really good job of just holding aggro the entire time. And then, of course, I'm just in his face the entire time trying to keep, you know, my two range characters alive. That was kind of my strategy. I was like, okay, like she has spells and the Reduvia thing. He's got arrows. If I can just kind of keep the pressure off of them a little bit, you know, that was kind of my goal. And so I was just trying to be up in his face and just keep him interested in me. But, you know, I'd say I did a pretty decent job of it. So, but yeah, everybody did a really great job. You can see like he got a nice dodge there. And I was just, this is like crazy. So, we did really good weapons, really good drops. And just a really good run overall. So there we go. That is, I'm sorry the quality is not, you know, any better. Like, I'm sure you guys wish that this was actually in, you know, 720p, but, you know, tell Elon to update his video players. So, anyway, that's all I've got for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I said this was going to be a short video, and now it's 35 minutes long. So, hopefully this will satiate you guys for a little bit. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time.